MAGA Republican Lauren Boebert just got called out to her face for her hypocrisy and for pretty much being a terrible representative in the House. So this was done by journalist Kyle Clark during this sort of like debate slash Q&A for her primary election in the state of Colorado. Of course, Lauren Boebert is running in a new district because she was too scared to run in her old one because 2022 was very close for her. She only won by like around 500 votes in a very Republican district. So she ran away and now she's running in this new district. But of course, she has to answer to voters. So Kyle Clark, the journalist, asked her, hey, you know what? You take credit for a lot of funding and a lot of projects that you voted against. You know, she takes credit for money that came from President Biden's infrastructure bill, but simultaneously, she voted against that bill. So she was confronted with that question to her face during this event, and you can kind of see while the question was being asked, the look on her face is like, uh-oh, this is a bad spot to be in. It's a tough question, and her answer was as simple as it gets. So take a look at the clip here.
Ms. Boebert, you've repeatedly taken credit for projects in Colorado that you asked for funding for, but then you voted against the bill in the end. Bridge over the Roaring Fork River in Glenwood Springs, water treatment plant in Gunnison, I-70 interchange in Grand Junction. You're able to vote no and get the praise for voting no because you know that there are enough other Republicans who are willing to vote for those bills so they'll pass. My question for you is this, and just a short answer, it truly is a yes or no question. If you were the deciding vote, would you still have voted no and killed all of those projects in Colorado that you now take credit for?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the little bit of panic on her face? She's like kind of nodding along, kind of like, uh-oh, oh God. I mean, being confronted with this question over like social media is one thing. Being confronted to her face is another. And I really like the way that Kyle Clark framed the question, saying like, hey, you know that there are enough Republicans out there who will vote for these policies so they pass, so you get the credit of voting against it and opposing President Biden. But her answer was also just really bad, saying like, yeah, if I were the deciding vote on some of these main policies like infrastructure, building new roads and bridges, removing every single lead pipe in the United States so everybody has clean drinking water, investing in public transportation and electrical grids, the list goes on. She says, if I were the deciding vote, I would still vote against it. Why? Why? This is common sense policy, and it shows you where the MAGA Republican Party is today. We have Joe Biden and the Democrats being like, you know what? Let's invest in roads and bridges. Let's expand Wi-Fi access so everybody has access to reliable broadband because in this modern economy, it's necessary. You know, common sense policy. And you know what? It'll create a bunch of good paying jobs, blue collar jobs for people in construction. Let's do that. Great. But the Republicans are like, you know what? You know, all these jobs that would come from this investment, all of this economic activity, all this stuff, no, we don't really want to do that because Joe Biden's doing it. What a great pitch to voters, right? This is what they're running on. You know what? We know that it's good policy. We'll vote against it, then take credit for its positive effects, but we're still opposed to the overall policy. It is such nonsense. Like the Republican Party's position in 2024, the platform that they're running on is just basically, hey, we know that Joe Biden passes good policy. We vote against that policy still, so you should vote for us. What a terrible pitch to voters. This is why so many Americans don't like Trump. This is why so many Americans don't like MAGA. And this is why so many people in Colorado don't like Lauren Boebert at all. And you know, this is not the first time that this has happened with Lauren Boebert. This happened recently on social media. Take a look at this post on your screen right now. We've talked about it before on this channel. Lauren Boebert put out this tweet saying, great meeting with Glenwood Springs City Councilor and former Mayor Jonathan Goads. We have secured over $51.4 million for the South Bridge. Was thrilled to hear about nearly $30 million in cost savings in addition, and that my support has helped make this project a reality. Now, of course, that's not true. Her support didn't make that project a reality. Matter of fact, she tried to kill this funding and she got fact-checked for it on Twitter. The fact check says Boebert hasn't secured $51.4 million for this bridge. The money came from a Biden-Harris grant that is part of the Rural Surface Transportation Grant Program, which itself is a part of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, which Boebert voted against. There it is. Again, another project, another amazing thing that's happening because of Joe Biden, because of Vice President Kamala Harris, and Lauren Boebert's on Twitter and social media taking a photo up saying, I did it, but that's not true. The facts tell a different story, as they always do with MAGA. Why is she lying? Why is she lying? And it was so bad. This tweet went so viral, and it was so bad for Lauren Boebert that Pete Buttigieg, Secretary Buttigieg, joined in. He got a part of it as well. He fact-checked Lauren on Twitter saying, Congresswoman, in what way do you believe that your support has helped this project? We chose it because it's a good project and funded it using President Biden's infrastructure package, which you voted against. Everybody's calling her out. And by the way, in connection to Pete Buttigieg, in addition to him, many other people called her out as well for this because she didn't help any of these projects. She is a hypocrite. She is a hypocrite. She says, I did this, she didn't. It's just constant flip-flopping with the Republicans and trying to lie their way into having their constituents believe that they're responsible for the good things that Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have done. And it doesn't just stop with President Biden's infrastructure investment. Republicans do this on literally every policy that Biden has passed that has had amazing effects in different parts of the country. Like, for example, there have been wind turbine factories opened up in Florida, right? Creating a lot of good paying jobs in clean energy, a growing market in the United States. And Republicans will go to the factory, they'll take a picture saying, oh my God, this is so great, so many jobs are being created. And then everybody's like, hey, that came from President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act that had the largest investment in fighting climate change in world history. That's actually the truth. Or they'll say, you know what? Seniors' insulin has now been capped at $35 a month. I'm so honored to have played a role. Actually, that's not true. That was also part of President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act that did that. That's Joe Biden doing that, not the Republicans, not Donald Trump, not Marjorie Taylor Greene, not Lauren Boebert, not any of these lunatics. It's Joe Biden. Joe Biden putting in the work for the United States, and these Republicans want to try to take credit. You don't get credit for voting against a bill. You get credit if you worked on it and made it happen and convinced your party to vote for it as well. But Lauren Boebert, not happening. Sorry, no, you don't get credit for any of this stuff. But man, it's always a good day when Lauren Boebert and MAGA gets called out, especially to their faces. I just loved the look of her listening to this question, and she was like, oh, she was just very uncomfortable while listening to it because it's the truth. She takes credit for things she voted against. So anyway, I'll wrap up the video there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to subscribe down below. It goes such a long way. Also drop a like on the video and comment. Let me know what you think about all of this. And as I always say, I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.